So DJI just came out with the new DJI Pocket 3, which is a handheld gimbalized camera for use on the go. And maybe you're like me and you have the Pocket 2 and you're wondering if all of the specs and the upgrades to the 3 are worth upgrading. Or maybe you don't have either and you want one of them and you're trying to figure out, should I go with the newer one for more money? Or is it okay to still go with the older one for less price? And honestly, people are probably going to be selling their older ones in order to buy the newer ones. Well, hopefully we can talk about that and answer some of those questions for you in this video. Hey everyone, my name is Zach. I am a children's pastor and a videographer, but more importantly than that, I'm a husband and a father. And I've had the DJI Pocket 2 for the past year or so, 2 years I guess. And it has been my everyday carry video camera. I take it with me pretty much everywhere. We filmed a ton of stuff of our family on it. It is just the perfect little vlog camera for my family. I also use it for the business, for some behind the scenes sort of stuff, but it mainly gets its use in our family. And so I'm going to be talking mainly focused towards people who are wanting to get this as a video camera for their family, and not necessarily more people who are going to use it for business, corporate stuff, where I have actually used this for one corporate video, and it was for a school. Their budget was lower, and it turned out fine, but to me, this is more of like a vlog everyday sort of camera. So I'm going to be talking to those sorts of people. Now, full honesty here, I don't have the Pocket 3. I have not gotten to have my hands on it. All of this information that I'm giving is based off of the specs that I find online, as well as watching other people's reviews. So if you do want someone's review who does have the Pocket 3, that's not me. I wish you the best in finding someone. There's tons of people out there. I've watched a ton of videos, but I'm just going to talk through the specs and what I see as value and whether or not I will be upgrading from the 2 to the 3. So the DJI Pocket 2 was released back in November of 2020, so it is definitely time for an upgrade for this camera. And with the new camera, there are 10 big things that I've kind of noticed that I think are things to look at as you try to decide whether or not upgrading is right for you. So the first thing is the sensor size. The sensor size on the new Pocket is a 1-inch CMOS sensor. Now on the Pocket 2, it is a 1/1.7 sensor. And so definitely a lot bigger, definitely gonna be an upgrade here because of having a higher or a larger sensor. That means you're gonna have a higher image quality, right? Your low light's gonna be better. Just the image quality in general is going to be better. And so that, to me, that's a huge upgrade. I think that's probably one of the biggest upgrades. And is a huge selling point. Now, I must say, I never really felt like the image quality of the 2 was bad, especially for what it was. Recognizing this is a small camera, this is a handheld gimbalized camera, I was completely content with the image quality and the low light performance on the 2. But that is definitely a big seller, that there is even more quality and more low light performance that is capable and out there. So that's the first big thing, just a larger sensor. Okay, so next is the screen size. The Pocket 3 has upgraded their screen size significantly. The 2, you have this tiny little screen. The Pocket 3 has a flippable 2-inch screen, and that's an upgrade of almost 5 times larger size. That to me is pretty amazing. I've never really loved the screen on this camera. I've never really complained about it, again, because it's such a tiny camera. I just accept it for what it is. But the fact that there can be a bigger screen out there is amazing. It's also a flippable screen, so that's really nice, and you can add different features to the flippable screen. So I've seen people who set it up that when you flip it open, it turns the camera on and even starts recording, or you can actually flip it to change what shooting mode you're in, whether you're shooting landscape or portrait. So that's really cool. But I mean, just having a bigger sensor or having a bigger screen will be incredibly helpful. The amount of times I've tried to navigate the menu on this thing and just can't get certain elements or get lost trying to find it because it's so small. That screen size is definitely a huge upgrade. Next is low light performance and their log capability. Now, again, I never thought that the Pocket 2 did bad in low light. I never really cared for their log performance, but The Pocket 3, with having a larger sensor, is obviously going to be doing a lot better in low light performance. I've seen some side-by-side comparisons, and it's pretty incredible the difference between the two cameras. Along with that, I believe the 3 comes with a new low light performance mode, which increases its low light abilities even more. It does, I believe, not allow you to shoot in log when shooting in that mode, as well as it might affect some of the image quality. But if you're in a situation where you really need extra light because it's super dark, that's a handy little feature to have. Along with that, DJI now has put their D-Log M into the Pocket 3. Now that is a log feature. If you're a dad out there and you don't necessarily know what that is, it's basically just meaning you can change your colors a little bit better in the post-production. To me, I didn't really use the log performance on this thing because I actually felt like it worsened the quality of the image, and I felt like the basic color settings were just fine on here. And so to me, sure, I'll probably try out the log feature on the 3, but I'm not opposed to using it without log as well. And I think also it does come with a additional new HGL feature for color, which is just going to be, again, those basic colors, but it's going to make it look even better than it did on the 2. So another big upgrade there, which is just super helpful. If you're someone who you're just wanting to run and gun with this, use it, plug it into your computer, and then watch the videos, having that new HGL feature color is going to be really helpful because you're going to get great colors out of it without having to start playing around with the log and figure all that stuff out. And if you are someone who wants to play around with log, then supposedly this is a lot better of a log performance than the 2. Okay, so the next one is Active Track, and this DJI Pocket 3 is equipped with Active Track 6.0, whereas the 2 is equipped with Active Track 3.0. Now, Active Track is basically a feature on the camera where you can select your subject, and the gimbal will follow that subject. So you could, ideally set this thing down somewhere, not on a hand because it will fall over, but you set it down on a tripod, whatever. Select yourself and you can be doing something and the camera will follow you, which is a really cool feature if you're trying to film yourself. I never felt like it was up to the challenge on the 2 for me, so I hardly ever used it. But this upgraded feature, I've watched a couple of different videos of people using it. It looks like it is done a lot better. It's smoother of a follow than the 2 was. It stays with the subject a lot better than the 2 did. And so for me, I can actually see myself utilizing that when it comes to filming behind the scenes sort of content for my business, or even just as a dad. If I want to set the camera down while my kids are playing or while we're playing on the park or whatever, I like the idea that I can select ourselves and trust that it's actually going to follow us this time. So because that was never something I felt like I could trust with the 2. I always felt like if I moved, a little too far out, it would lose me and then it just would be recording nothing. So Active Track 6.0, definitely an upgrade there. Next is the focus. So I never felt like the focus was bad on the 2. That's actually one of the things that I was always like, oh yeah, it's great. It always keeps us in focus, never has a problem with it. Now, granted, I'm filming, like this super close to me, so like I'm always going to be the thing that it sees right away. But the 3 does have a new focus mode, which is product showcase. And so that's basically if you are having a product that you're trying to highlight, which is good for people who are doing product videos and things like that. But if you have a product and you kind of hold it up to the camera, try to see if I can get this to work here. My C200 doesn't want to work too well, it wants to find my face, but it does grab that focus, and then it'll stay focused on that as you move it around. Not something that's available on the 2. The 2 other modes are continuous focus and single focus, which are both available on the 2 as well, though it does look like those focus modes have been increased and are doing a little bit better. It seems like the snappiness between focusing objects is smoother. So just added a little increase there. To me, it doesn't seem like a huge change. Oops, I just turned this thing on. But that still, upgrade is an upgrade. And then the Pocket 3 also has Wi-Fi, which is a upgrade that the 2 does not have. I think the biggest reason to have this is to be able to connect your phone via the DJI the DJI app. In the past, if you've wanted to connect your phone to the Pocket to use it as a monitor, or honestly like me who has bigger thumbs and had to use it to kind of change my settings at times, you had to pop off this little thing here, and then you would put in a different piece that would connect to your phone. And this was nice at times to be able to have a bigger screen, but now that feature is gone in the Pocket 3. You can no longer connect your phone directly to it, which I don't think you necessarily need to because that screen is bigger. And I never used it other than to change my focus or to change my settings. So the fact that you can still connect to your phone via Wi-Fi and use your phone as a monitor, change your settings on there, that is a nice additional feature. Something that I don't know if I'd fully use, but it is nice to know that if you do want to use your phone as a monitor, you still can, because that was always nice knowing that, you know, if I needed to use my phone as a monitor, I could just slide this thing off and utilize it that way. Where'd that go? Okay, so audio. This was something I never complained about on this camera, and actually it was probably one of my favorite features on this camera. Both cameras have 3 external mics, one on each side and then one here on the front. And honestly, they always sounded amazing. For internal microphones, I was always incredibly impressed. I even tried using some external microphones before, plugging them in, and I just never felt like they were as good as the internal microphones. And so to me, I was always impressed by these, but they have been upgraded on the 3. The quality is a little bit better. Along with that, DJI Pocket 3 does come with the ability to connect their personal external microphone, and it looks similar to these microphones. This is the DJI wireless pack. Their microphone that comes with the Pocket looks very similar to this. It connects via Bluetooth, and so that's a nice feature. The Pocket 2 also had that, but I never really liked it. It felt cheap, and honestly it broke on me at some point, so now it just sits in my truck somewhere. But the feature that I really like is that you can actually utilize your DJI wireless microphone system and plug it directly into the Pocket so that you can use both microphones, which I'm using one here to record myself. And if you're someone who already has this product, that's an awesome feature to have. I can see myself utilizing that more than I did on the Pocket 2, because on the 2 you only ever had one microphone that you could connect to it, and it was nice if I was filming by myself, but most of the time I'm filming family stuff. So this could be nice that I could film both my wife and I, and we could each have a microphone and we'd hear the quality really well. Otherwise though, the external microphones on the Pocket 2 were great, so I feel like the Pocket 3 will be just as great, if not better. Okay, so next is the vlog skin tone features. And so these are some cool little features that I don't think I will utilize all that much, but I could see my wife utilizing. And so the first one is there's a glamour feature, which basically just smooths out the skin, makes your face look a little bit better. My wife has this on her personal camera. I think she has the Sony A5100 maybe, and it has that feature on there. And so I know that, you know, she would probably utilize that. To me, I'm like, I don't really care. If it helps, sure, but I probably won't use it too much. But the feature that I do like is that it actually auto adjusts the light settings to your skin tone. So if you have certain skin tones, you're in the shot, it's going to take the light that's around you and it's going to adjust the exposure and everything to really best suit your skin tones with the light around you. So I think that is just a really cool feature to have. It's one of those auto features that I think these cameras do really well at. It's one of the reasons why I like having this as a personal vlog family camera, because the auto features are just so good. And to me, that's a great one to have, because as you're moving from different light scenarios, you're outside, you're playing, you're moving from light into shadows, knowing that the exposure on your face is going to change and adjust and do that properly, that's a huge thing to me. And I think to those out there who want to use this as a family vlog camera, that alone is a huge reason why I would recommend this camera without having the camera in hand to really test it. but it sounds great. And then also there is a additional little attachment that you can attach to the Pocket 3. And so the Pocket 2, right here with your, so right here where the camera is, there's a magnetized element to it. And so you could always attach additional pieces to this. You could attach their wide lens. I had an ND filter that I would attach to it. And the same is true for the Pocket 3. It has a magnetized piece on the lens that you can attach external features to. And one of the features that comes with the Creator Combo is a mist filter. And if you don't know what a mist filter is, it's a cinematic sort of filter, and it's just gonna make light smoother. It's gonna make your skin tone smoother. So I think if you're someone out there who is into cinematic and you're kind of looking at this for that reason, that's a cool feature. I think for most everyday sort of people, probably wouldn't use that too much. I don't know if I'll use that too much when it comes to family stuff, but it is a nice feature to have. And I love the fact that they do have that magnetized ability. And the fact that they're coming out with a mist feature gives me hope that eventually DJI will come out with their own ND filter, if they haven't already. I haven't seen anything saying they have, but that was something that I always wanted to see. I always wanted to see an ND filter with this camera, which I get it. It's a small camera. It's hard to have that like internal, but the fact that they give you a mist filter gives me hope for an ND filter. And then next is the battery life. And so the battery life has a huge upgrade on the Pocket 3. So the Pocket 2 had a battery life of about 120 minutes when using it at moderate settings, right? So if you're using it at 4K 60, that's gonna go down. But to me, I always filmed in 1080p, 60 frames. And so you can get around an hour. I think DJI says an hour and 20 minutes out of it. But the Pocket 3, let me double check this. Oh no, I'm wrong. The Pocket 2, supposedly you can get 140 minutes out of it. The Pocket 3, you can get 166 minutes out of it, which doesn't seem like a huge change. But what really is cool about it is that the Pocket 3 has a quick charge feature. So you plug your Pocket 3 in and it can charge up to 80% in 16 minutes. A full charge, I think, takes like 32 minutes. A full charge on this thing was about an hour and a half, I believe. Hour and 15. But still, that's a feature that I really like, because the amount of times I've pulled this camera out and it's been dead or almost dead, and then I'm like, well, it's just gonna take an hour to film or to charge, and I don't have that time. Knowing that I could plug the camera in and quickly get a good amount of charge in it to make it usable, that's a huge feature to me. Along with that, there are also some additional attachments that you can attach to the bottom of your Pocket 3. The Pocket 2 has this as well, but it's more so for their audio feature. But the Pocket 3 has it that extends your battery life by an additional 100 minutes. And so that is huge. I mean, that gives you so much battery life. That's more than you'll need for most scenarios. So to me, the battery life is a huge upgrade on the 3. And then the final thing that I noticed is that the Pocket 3 comes with the ability to live stream as well as utilize it as a webcam. So most people probably won't use that. Most of you guys watching this, if anyone's still watching this at this point, probably won't utilize that. I probably would never use it as a live stream camera, but I can see myself using it as a webcam, because on my desktop, I don't have a webcam, and so I always have to connect my EOS R as my webcam. But being able to use this as a webcam and knowing that it can track me if I do move around, that's a nice feature. So I think all in all, to me, if you're wondering whether or not you should upgrade, if you have the 2 and you're wondering whether or not you should upgrade to the 3, I think it all comes down to, do I want to pay the price for it? For all these additional specs. This is a 3-year-old camera. Is it worth it to just keep it and keep utilizing it for what it is? Or should I upgrade it? To me, I think I eventually will upgrade. Probably not right away, but I know that I will upgrade down the road. I just know that if I'm using this camera, I'm going to be thinking about all of the better features in the 3, and that's going to bug me and annoy me. And I feel like it'll also make me use it more, maybe, hopefully. So to me, I do believe I will upgrade down the road. But if you're someone who already has the 2, you're content with the 2, it does everything that you need it to, then maybe stick with the 2. But if those additional features are enticing enough for the change, then sure, sell your 2, upgrade to the 3. I think the price of the combo pack is just under $700. Without the combo pack, I think it's around $500. So definitely a good chunk of money here. If you're someone who doesn't have either and you're wondering which one should I go with, I'm gonna tell you go with the 3. I'm one of those people that always suggests go with paying a little bit more upfront for a longer term payoff. I think the 3 has enough qualities that are better than the 2 that down the road you're gonna be happy that you went with it, even if that means you have to pay a little bit more upfront. So hopefully this video has been enjoyable for you. I was actually going to put this video out just talking about this camera as my everyday camera, and then DJI released the 3. So I was like, okay, let's jump on the ball, let's get this thing filmed. But if you have any questions about the 2 and how I've used it, would love to do another video on that. But gonna be doing a couple more videos related to family cameras and things like that here in the future. So stick around. If you're not subscribed already, please do subscribe. And I hope to see you in the next video.